Hi, and welcome to this lesson on tooling products, guiding to done. Another element to controlling products is this concept of DevOps, or development operations. This is something that's been made very popular by Netflix because of their extreme success. And what Adrian Cockcroft talked about in his talk, Speed Wins, is that they gave developers the responsibility to run the code that they wrote. So basically they got root access, which allowed them to change anything, but they also got pager duty, which meant that if anything broke, they were on the hook. So this was kind of built into what was called the Netflix culture of freedom and responsibility. You're free to do what you want, but you're responsible for your impact. This cycle of having essentially the create, plan, monitor, configure, release, package, and verify loop, or DevOps loop, is essential if you're going to have people actually think about what is the operational costs and the operational impacts of their designs. And you might think that this caused a lot of overhead. Well, it didn't. It actually turned out the developers spent less time managing production than they did interacting with the operations teams to explain how to fix problems in production, which is amazing. It turns out that having a little peril, this risk of having to actually fix a problem when you put a problem out into production, this peril actually helped to align the system so that developers built code that would run successfully. And of course, we talked about the Simian army, which was out there banging on the code anyway. So they knew they were going to get responses. A great example of this in a non-software engineering context is with civil engineering and the integrated project delivery concept. IPD is all about building a legal relationship in which different groups share risk and reward. This oftentimes includes the owner, architect, contractor, and operator. They will come together and form a single entity, and then they will have a management committee, which is all making decisions in a co-located environment where people can point to the actual work that they're getting done. This is the use of the information models we were talking about earlier. And by having everyone invited, participating fully, upfront, and collaborative, they can actually manage this incentive pool of opportunity with the project to deliver some of the most impactful and best projects to date. A really great example is the Caltrans District 7 headquarters, which was built for $165 million back in 2004. It was on time, on budget, and on schedule, and it was so futuristic and environmentally friendly that Thomas Main, the designer, won the Pritzker Prize in 2005 for its implementation. The point here is that you can do DevOps in non-software environments. You just have to ensure that you have the right alignment of risk and reward. So in summary, guide your products through controls. Planning, designing, building, testing, closing, and reporting are all important. The goal is faster, more sustainable, and scalable products so that you can continue to build these over time. In addition to that, remember that closing is controlling. If you're not starting with the idea of how you're going to close this work, then you are not planning to close it. You need to have a strong definition of done, and you need to start closing from the beginning. And then finally, if you want to really ensure the sustainability of products, put a little peril in the system. Put some skin in the game. Make sure that your teams have a responsibility in terms of the impacts of their work over time. If you do so, you can align incentives for all involved. You'll make sure that ultimately there are a lot fewer handoffs because people will want to own the results. And you can do this in any environment. You don't have to do it just for software. You can do it for civil engineering and others. So we hope that this lesson has been useful for you, and maybe it's opened your eyes to how you can include a little bit of anti-fragility in your product controls. In the last lesson of this week, we're going to talk to you about data and how you can control all three elements, people, process, and products, through great measurements. We look forward to seeing you there.